So hello, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, and welcome to all. My name is Ricardo Balbeira. I'm the CEO and founder of Soccer Hub. As you know, Soccer Hub is an online platform where we deliver different kinds of content for soccer coaches. This is a live interview, as you know, so don't forget to ask questions to our speaker. For that, you just have to write on the chat box the question that you want to address to the speaker, okay? So today we are now starting a new kind of interview where we invite some coaches that we believe that are online influencers about soccer coaching. So that's why we have here Peter Pricket. Peter Pricket is the author of the book Development Skill, A Guide to 3v3 Soccer Coaching. He's a level 3 football coach, FA, affiliate futsal tutor. Head coach also of the Old Actonians Youth FC and coach at the Brentford FC Community Sports Trust. So I'm going to invite Peter in. Okay. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Thank you for accepting our invitation, Peter. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us in this conversation.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so Peter, I have here some questions, some simple questions. I would like to first start for you to talk a bit more about yourself and how did you become a soccer coach? Could you please talk a bit about your path to your current position, Peter?
So, um, I've been a coach for 10 years.
Okay.
And before I was a coach, I was involved in property. But we had a recession 10 years ago, and I needed to find some more work. And it was suggested to me I should have a look into computing. So, oh, there's loads of jobs in computing, have a look. So I spoke to some companies and they told me how much it would cost and how long it would take. And I thought, I don't really like computers that much. And then I was watching a television program and someone was doing their coaching badges. And I said to myself, if the badges cost the amount of money that the that the computing would cost, would I do it? And I said to myself, yes. So that's how I decided I'm going to go into coaching. Signed up for a level 1. I didn't have a club at the time, but I was lucky. A friend of mine was doing work with Rachel Yankee, who played football for England women's team for many years. I got in touch with her. She was looking for volunteers. So I volunteered with her club. She then said to me, we've got some sessions, do you want them? And then from there, it just built and built and built.
Okay, it's a great story. Now, could you please talk a bit more about your book, Development Skill, A Guide to 3v3 Soccer Coaching, and why do you decided to write it, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't decide to write a book. So if people had been paying attention, they could have had everything for free. Because I put it all out on social media. I shared it and people said, oh, it's really good. You should put it in a PDF or an ebook or something. I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever you say. And maybe a year and a half later, I thought, okay, I've got enough material here. I can actually do a book. Let's contact a publisher. Got in touch with the publisher. They said, yeah, there's a gap in the market for a book on 3v3. And they took it on. As for why I decided to do 3v3, we were working on a module at the development centre with Brentford.
Okay.
And the module was 1v1s, 2v2s, small-sided. 1v1 is great. I love 1v1, and 1v1 is a big part of the book. I think it's really important. 2v2, though, I found really limited.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've gone beyond, you've got two players in a line, two players here, that's it. It lacks depth and width. So I worked harder on the 3v3 and I asked, does anyone have any good 3v3 resources?
Mm-hmm.
Other than Horst Vane's work, which is brilliant,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
there was not much out there. So I decided, okay, I'll make it myself. And 3v3 for me, it has the depth and width available, as does 4v4, but really simple maths.
Mm-hmm.
Those two extra players mean fewer touches for the players involved. And I do say in my book, I'm not telling people not to use different formats. Far from it, because
Mm-hmm.
if you've got 8 players, okay, do 4v4, but you could do 3v3 and 2 1v1s if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I went for it. I went for it and did further research. And there's not a lot of research, which is something that I'm trying to add to. More touches, one-on-one situations, and of course triangles. The game is built on triangles, so
Mm-hmm.
both in offense and defense. And people say, yeah, what about diamonds? Well, of course, but a diamond is 2 triangles.
Mm-hmm.
So my trade-off is slightly more touches for a slight change in the shape, but also getting the fundamental principles of the game of football out in a very small-sided game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So I believe that you also have some background in futsal. So my question is, Peter, do you feel that there are many things that soccer coaching could learn from futsal? Should futsal be the first stage of development of a soccer player? What do you think about this?
I don't know if it should be the first stage, but
Mm-hmm.
then that would be different from country to country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of Brazil, for example, is a
Brazil,
great
yeah.
one that
Mm-hmm.
they cite where they play it in school. Right, and
Mm-hmm.
I work in schools, and I was in a futsal meeting yesterday morning, and I said, well, we want to get futsal into schools, but when I do football at lunchtime in the winter, we're not on grass, we're on a hard
Mm-hmm.
surface, and I'm using a futsal ball. Are we doing futsal in school?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
Sure.
I think it's really important. The more that kids do it, the better they will be. And the book took a lot of inspiration from futsal as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's huge crossover, massive benefits. I mean, in England, the argument is futsal being used as a tool to develop footballers, or is futsal being used for futsal?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can do, for me, it's a game. You can do whatever you want. It's a game. If you
Yeah.
want to use it to help your football, great. But if you want to play futsal to play futsal, great as well.
Mm-hmm. Here in Portugal, they are two completely different sports. It's
Mm-hmm.
not very usual for you to have a player from futsal going to football. It's not common at all. It's like two different sports, and I believe that it is not understood as a big relation between the two sports. And I think that should be more, as you said, in Brazil, they have a system that they start in futsal and then you go to football. And the truth is that you get more technical players, and that's because of the small space where it's practiced. So I see some advantages in it. I have here a.
Sorry, go on.
No. Continue, Peter,
I
please.
was going to say that the principles of having a high speed, small sided game with lots of
Mm-hmm.
decision making and increased touches, it's the same principles that I'm using for the 3v3, but futsal does that as well. You
Mm-hmm.
can do 3v3 futsal if you want.
Yeah.
You could do 4v4 futsal if you want.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
seen people doing it, and I think it's the speed. I think a lot of people don't realize until they actually play the
Mhm.
game how fast it is
Yeah.
and how controlling of that ball and having to make those choices is different to football.
Mhm. Yeah, I think football can learn a lot from different sports. For instance, I was in Canada some months ago, and we were watching ice hockey. And in
Hmm.
ice hockey, they are always changing the players so the sport can have high intensity. So you can always learn from each sport. And I think futsal being the similar sport to football, I think that many knowledge can be taken from that.
I think futsal is really, really interesting because although it is very similar to football,
Hmm.
because you're using your feet, you're scoring goals, the rules borrow from basketball, handball. It has a commonality with lots of different games, not just football. It's like it's taken the best pieces of different games,
Hmm. Yeah,
try and
sure.
make itself. Like,
Hmm.
and ice hockey with the ability to bring out the goalkeeper. Of course, in football, you are allowed to bring the goalkeeper out, but no one would do it,
Hmm.
not to
Yeah.
the extent that you do in futsal, but they
Mhm.
do that in ice hockey.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Peter, I have here a question from Philippe Tells. I'm not sure if you understand the questions. I don't. So, but the question for Philippe is, what is your opinion about Fanino?
Yeah, Panino is Horst Vane's 3v3.
Okay.
And I think it's really, really good. I think it's great. I think the German FA, they're moving towards more 3v3, and I believe it's based on the Fanino model.
Okay.
Um, and I think it's terrific.
Hmm.
The and how can I say this? I'm not trying to replace it with what I'm doing. I'm trying to add to the brilliant work of Horst Vane.
Hmm.
But I found it went so far, but you could add further layers to it
Hmm.
depending on what you wanted to do. So Horst Vane's stuff was very play, and play
Hmm.
is brilliant. I'm never going to say play is no good because I do it all the time. But we can also add rules and conditions that mean we can add elements of learning that go slightly beyond what's laid out in Fanino.
Hmm.
If it was me, what I would say is kind of what I've done in my book would be how you would train to go and play Fanino,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. But then you could also use mine, what I've done to try and train to play 5v5 or 7v7 or whatever format it is.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you for the answer. Thank you for the question, Philippe. Don't hesitate to add more questions to our discussion, of course. Peter, I'm aware that you work mostly with kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you know, our community, many our followers, many of them are youth coaches, and Soccer Hub tries to help them out during the career. So one of the questions that I always ask to everyone, to all of our interviewers, is what do you believe that are the main challenges that a youth football coach faces nowadays? Of course, in England is your reality. I would like to know a bit more. What are specifically the challenges that the youth coach faces over there?
Um, well, if you are a youth coach as a career,
Hmm.
then the challenge is making enough money to make it worthwhile because as as much as it is a wonderful thing to be doing, we also have to put money on the table, and
Hmm.
it's not the best paid of jobs. So that in itself is a challenge. And I was speaking to a coach the other day who's moved to England from Spain, and he's looking to get as many hours as possible. And to do so, he's working for this company here, and then this company here, and this company, and this company. And that's what happens a lot when you're trying to make a living out of coaching. Um,
Mhm.
for those who are not trying to make a living, because there are still plenty of volunteers and coaches who work with their kids team and
Mhm.
literally their kid, their child, their son, their daughter. Um, the challenges are different. Time is always a challenge. I
Mhm.
don't think you could go to anywhere in the world and time is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And if you have 3 hours of training a week, you probably want four. If you have 4 hours, you probably want five. They just, there's always more that you feel you can be doing. And then another challenge is the perception of what coaching actually is. So when people are observing you, or parents, or sometimes even the players themselves, what they think coaching is and what a coach should be doing. And that may be quite an old fashioned version of view of stop, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. But actually, that might not be what the kids want or what the kids need. The kids may need a different style. And because the people recognize or watching don't recognize a different style, they sometimes go, oh, you're not coaching, or potentially could do that. And then you have problems there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Just to finish, about your plans to the future, Peter. How do you imagine yourself in the future, and how will be your path in the next few years, Peter?
Well, at the moment, I'm studying for a master's in football coaching.
Okay, perfect.
And so that should be finished, fingers crossed, that should be finished um, sometime next summer.
Mhm.
Um, I will then have a bit more time to go and to look at purely coaching, although I'm probably working full time hours in coaching at the moment. I would be working full time and actually concentrating just on coaching. Um, I'm doing tutoring with the FA, so hopefully there'll be more of that. And in the very near future, book number two is virtually finished.
Mhm.
So that's probably the next goal on the horizon is book two will be out December, I think.
Okay, perfect.
So
Okay, Peter. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us. I hope that you enjoyed this small interview. We just wanted to introduce you to our community, and also uh, uh, to be able to answer some questions about soccer coaching. It was a pleasure having you with us. Once again, Peter, thank you for your time, and see you soon, and good luck for this book and for the next book. Okay, Peter?
thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having
Bye.
me. Bye.